welcome you back to South Florida and Marlins Park, where the Pirates and their fans here are getting set for the third game of a four-game series. This series even at a game apiece after last night's loss to Miami. Bucks and the Fish getting set for the third of this four-game set. And hi again, everybody. I'm Tim Never, along with Bob Walk. Robbie and Smikowski joins us shortly as well. Part of the reason the Marlins won the game last night, and the way they win some of their games, is due to team speed. Infield singles, bunts, stolen bases. The Marlins stole 5 against the Bucks last night.
Yeah, and as you just said, it's not always just the stealing the bases. It's the big thing with them. The team speed does other things, and something that I've noticed last night too. Even though they got a lot of team speed, they're very fast, but they're very aggressive also. They run hard right out of the box. They're trying to turn singles into doubles. They're trying to turn doubles into triples. So their team speed really makes them play a different style ball game than a lot of other teams you face. They're not going to just lay back and play station to station and wait for a home run.
Yeah, the Marlins lead Major League Baseball in triples this month with 12. D. Gordon, who is the main culprit, is not in tonight, so Jeff Locke won't have to deal with Gordon if he gets on.
Well, Jeff has been struggling a little bit of late. You can see what happened to him last time against the Giants. Really a tough game. Gave up the 6 runs and the 11 hits. And it's been a while since he's been deep in a ball game. Hopefully tonight he can get that turned around.
Jeff Locke trying to go 6 or better tonight. He will oppose left-hander Chris Narveson. Take a look at Narveson when we come back. It's time to lock down the Fish. And as far as Jeff's concerned, he wants to throw away the key as the Pirates look for their second win in this four-game set.
Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
Folks still making their way into Marlins Park for the first pitch tonight. Pirates and Miami. Chris Narveson getting set to make his first start in the big league since 2012. Pitched in Japan last year. He's been pitching in relief. Missed the 2013 season. The bulk of it due to injuries. He had just 2 relief appearances in the big league in 2013. So Narveson, the lefty, hasn't seen the Pirates since 2011.
Yeah, you really don't know much what to expect out of Narveson tonight. But the same situation with Han. He had been pitching most of his games out of the bullpen, and velocity-wise, they're going to be similar type pitches. But let's hope the outcome is going to be a little different in tonight's game. Narveson, the 12th starting pitcher that the Marlins have had to use this season. They've really had a tough time with that starting rotation.
Well, the Pirates looking for a win tonight again, as they've got to continue to do that night after night after night. Now they're in this pennant race and getting deeper in it as we approach the end of the month of August. So Jeff Locke and Chris Narveson, the pitching matchup. Pirates looking to take the lead in this series. Let's go back to Pittsburgh right now. Rob King has this game break. A nightly ritual in the Pirates dugout. Changes every night, though. Tonight's the limbo from Jay Hay. Bruce McCutcheon on center stage. It's a different dance tonight. Hopefully this one works.
Yeah, whatever they were doing last night, they can not do that again.
That one's banned. The Marlins have taken the field. We're getting ready to start this ball game. And the Pirates lineup is presented by Toyota. Josh Harrison back in the leadoff spot. And Marte, McCutcheon, Ramirez, and Gunn. Michael Moores has clobbered Narveson in the past, 6 for 9 with 3 home runs. And Neil Walker, bat right-handed in the 7th spot. Chris Stewart catches. It's 8th, and Jeff Locke will bat 9th. against the Miami left-hander. Josh Harrison back in that leadoff spot. 273 the average. He's ready to go, and so are we. And the first pitch is up high for ball one.
You can see Narvison's numbers on the year. Not really a whole lot there, just 11 innings of work, but not a bad 11 innings at all. Hasn't given up very many hits. Only walked 3. Done a good job.
Kendrys Flores was originally scheduled to make this start, but he went on the disabled list the day that they brought Christian Yelich back, which was yesterday. So they had planned ahead and had Narvison ready for this. 2-1. Now it's 2-2.
Funny how that happens, isn't it? The way it all works out, that you planned ahead.
It sort of works out, doesn't it? And Jennings, the general manager turned manager of this ball club. 3-2. Count full to Jay Hay. Narvison ready to deliver the payoff. And that's inside ball 4, and the Pirates leadoff man is aboard. Defensively for Miami in the outfield, Cole Gillespie getting the start in right, and Solo Ozuna in center field, Christian Yelich in left, Prado, Echeverria, Rojas, and Bohr around the infield. Real Muto doing the catching once again. Cole Gillespie makes his first start in this series. Starling Marte, 289 the average. Marte had a long hitting streak broken last night. Fouls this one back for strike 1. He had hit safely in 9 of his last 11 games against Miami. Last night was one of the 2 he didn't hit. Harrison off of first base, nobody out. Narvison set. That pitch is in for a strike. 0-2 to Starling. A lot of conversation about that throw that he made from left field to retire Echeverria at third base early in yesterday's ball game. Sort of a nonchalant throw, but got there in plenty of time.
Maybe not plenty of time, but it got there in
enough time. Yeah, Marte strikes out.
But, you know, that's an example of what we were talking about in the open about, you know, that trying to turn a double into a triple.
The curveball.
Slower type curveball.
Tips to win tonight, Bob, from Rivers Casino.
Well, we haven't unpacked the home runs yet on this trip to Miami. I'd like to see that happen. I mean, that's really been the big part of the Pirate offense now for quite some time, going back into July. So definitely would like to have that, you know, take place. And then the last thing there, no more 5s from Locke. You know, you look at his last 6 starts; they're all 5 1/3, 5, 5 2/3, 5, 5. Need to get him to 6 or more, and that I think would be good for Jeff. Get a little confidence going to get him into that 7th inning at least, and also I think you know, the Pirates could use a nice start like that.
Nice ball in for a strike.
And you know, when you're on a little bit of a tough roll like Jeff is right now, you can feel some heat. You'd like to get that off you if you can go out there and have a good one where you throw 7 innings, only give up a run or 2.
McCutchen takes another strike. 0-2. Catch behind Narvison here in the first inning. 1 on, 1 out. Harrison the leadoff walk. McCutchen flirting with 300 again at 299. Throw to first. Bore out a couple of feet in front of the bag close to the mound in that direction. So even if he catches it, he's got no chance to make a tag on Jay. Nothing in 2 to Kutch. 2 for 3 with a double last night. Also hit by a pitch. During the month of August, McCutchen hitting .324. Has an on-base percentage of .458 this month. That's second in the National League. And he swings and rips it down the left field corner. Jay around second, heading for third, and they're going to wave Jay home. Harrison on the run, he'll score. McCutchen drives in the first run of the ball game with a double.
Kutch has hit so well with runners in scoring position this year, and here he proves that he can do it even when the guy's at first as he bangs this ball down in the corner. Down and in pitch. Not a lot of velocity from Narveson.
Jay flying the whole way.
Yeah, once he got around second base in real good shape, but you could see he was going to make it without a play.
1-0 Pirates. McCutchen at second. Aramis Ramirez up. Took a healthy cut. Fouled it back. 0-1.
He definitely took a rip at that one.
McCutchen had a first inning double in last night's game. Ramirez drove him in with a base hit to right. See if he can do it again. Ground ball to short. Echeverria, easy toss to first base. Ramirez is out. And there are 2 gone. Jung Ho Kang will come up next.
Narveson throw a little short slider or cutter, whatever you want to call it. And that's, I think, what that was. Looked like it jumped inside. Got Rammer right on the label. The bat. Slow ground ball. Good pitch.
Fastball, cutter, curveball, changeup, the repertoire for Narveson. And a strike called to Jung Ho. He has not thrown more than 44 pitches in a game this year for the Marlins, so you don't expect him to go long. Maybe 60, 65 pitches in this outing at most. You know you're going to get to the Marlins bullpen in this game. It's not like last night when Brad Hand continued to pile up the innings.
I thought we were going to get to the bullpen last night.
Thought so.
Yeah.
Didn't work out that way.
No, it didn't happen. But I thought we were.
They gave Hand a chance to get a complete game, but gave up back-to-back hits in the 9th to Ramirez and Cervelli. Dan Jennings came out and got him and brought in A.J. Ramos for the save. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch to Jung Ho. 2-2.
One of the things that Hand did in last night's game, he didn't hurt himself. No walks. Even though we hit a few balls hard, a lot of times we were at the defense, so gave himself a chance and paid off.
Boy, Jung Ho looked at a good one there and strikes out. Pirates get a run on 1 hit and they leave a man. 1-0 after a half inning. Starts with his 32nd double of the year. So the Bucks on the board first. Take a look at the Miami Marlins and how they'll line up tonight. Cole Gillespie will lead off, and Miguel Rojas will play second base and bat second. Martin Prado, the cleanup man, left-handed hitting Justin Bour, had a pair of doubles last night. Marcelo Ozuna in center field, Christian Yelich in left, JT Realmuto behind the plate. Denny Hitchevarria is the shortstop, and Chris Narveson pitching and batting ninth against Bucco left-hander Jeff Locke.
Locke's numbers brought to you by Hyundai, and they have been going the wrong direction in the last handful of starts. The ERA has been climbing. Time to head back.
Yeah, Jeff's road ERA in 10 starts is just over 6. Needs to shrink that down. First pitch in for a strike to Gillespie. 317 for Gillespie. Just 1 home run, 13 runs batted in. Inside, and it's 1-1. One pitch. First base, and Michael Morse, big wingspan, reaching for that one. And there's one out. Covers a lot of ground.
He does have some wingspan. No doubt about that. Yeah, with all the speed that we were talking about earlier, you will probably see maybe 1 or 2 bunt attempts tonight. We see that against Locke a lot. Right-hand hitters, left-hand hitters, doesn't matter. They'll try to put that ball on the first base side and then beat Locke to the bag, because Locke has that little bit of a fall over toward third base side.
Rojas pops this one up. Chris Stewart chasing it to the backstop, and there are 2 down. Chris Stewart getting the start behind the plate tonight. Clint Hurdle telling us today it was actually a scheduled day off. They had planned to have Cervelli have this night off and have Stewart catch.
Wasn't his foot?
Not according to the manager. No.
Well, good. Glad that the foot's not bothering him then.
He said he was banged up a little, but he's okay. Looks fine to me.
Had both feet kind of hurting yesterday, I guess.
All smiles. Usually is. 2 outs and Martin Prado the batter. Prado's continued to get on base game after game after game. 20 of 21 games he has been on base for the Fish. Jeff's 1-1 pitch. Side, it's 2-1. Jeff hasn't gone through the 6th inning in a game since the 19th of July at Milwaukee, when he pitched 7 1/3. Jeff firing that one in at 94 miles an hour.
He's looking around, wondering where that one came from.
I hope he finds out.
You could hear that one was 94.
This one's hit well to left field, going back Marte to the track, to the wall, and the game is tied. Martin Prado with his 6th home run, and it's 1-1.
Prado turns one around. They do make a different noise here when the ball hits the catcher's glove or coming off the bat. You can really hear it echo in this indoor stadium. Yeah, really, that's a fastball that he likes to throw and really must throw to right-hand hitters to get that ball up on their hands.
That should be a strike, and it is, to Justin Bour.
Prado had to be looking up there.
Hear that different sound off the bat. Different acoustics in here. Strike 2 to Bohr.
Yeah, it's really a different feeling in all the indoor stadiums. Really, it's just kind of get a different sound.
Jeff got the first 2 outs quickly, and then Prado with the home run.
Yeah, we were talking about their team speed, how they use that to great effect in their offense, and what do?
Get a home run.
First inning out of the ballpark. And the Pirates are the ones that are more of the home run team. They use their speed. Chehe scoring all the way from first base.
Bohr needs a new bat. Next, got a souvenir.
Good for him.
I wonder where he went for dinner. See what he's got in his pocket?
No, I didn't see.
Chopsticks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My guess is he didn't have a hot dog or a cheeseburger. And Bohr strikes out. 1 run on the home run by Martin Prado. Played an inning, even at 1. Game at 1. Let's take a look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Shortstop prospect Cole Tucker underwent surgery today to repair a labrum in his right shoulder. The recovery time for him 10 months to a year.
That is
last year's first round pick.
Horrible news for Cole, I'm sure, knowing he's going to be out of the game for a year.
Michael Morse leads off the second inning for the Pirates. Yeah, that's you like to say, well, that's a long time, but you know, guys have done it quite often. They have to sit out, recover, and he'll come back strong. He's got a lot of years left in this game. We wish him the best.
You know, tougher for, I think, the minor league guys. If you've been in the big leagues for a few years and feel you've established yourself, you got that, you know, okay, there's a job waiting for me when I get back because I've already proved I can do this. I just need to get healthy.
And Morris clubs this one to the left field corner. He rumbles around first base, heading for second, and Michael Morris has a leadoff double. He is now 7 for 10 career against Chris Narveson. 6th double for Morse.
He caught that slow curveball. You could almost see a little hitch in his swing as he had to wait for it to get there.
Double number 6. And now Neil Walker batting right-handed. try to get Morse to third or home. 264 for Neal. Didn't start last night against the left-hander Brad Hand. This one hit in the air to the right center field gap and deep. Ozuna doesn't have it. Nobody's got it. Morse will come around third, and he will score. And Walker trades places with Morse, and the Pirates back in front, 2-1. Back-to-back doubles to start the second inning.
Yeah, that's really a great way to do it. It keeps the inning rolling along when you can trade places like that. You get the run home, and you get the same scenario. Ball was away, and Walker's trying to hit it that direction anyway to get the run over, and he hits it into the gap. Watch as soon as he throws the glove up, but even if that deke works and Moore stays at second base, he's still going to score because it is so far out there.
Stewart takes low and outside.
This is definitely one of the bigger ballparks that you'll see in either league when it comes to the spacious outfield.
Double number 27 for Walker. It's his 5th from the right side of the plate.
You look at this ballpark, you can understand why the Marlins have so many triples.
It's a triples park. Deep right center field gap. 418 to dead center, and then you got to go straight up. Big ballpark. Two balls and a strike to Chris Stewart. Pirates got a run in the first inning with an RBI double from McCutchen. Now an RBI double from Walker. All 3 hits for the Pirates are doubles. 57 straight games now the Pirates have had an extra base hit. That's a ground ball up the middle and a base hit. Here comes Walker. Neal will score. Stewart drives him in. It's 3-1. 12th RBI for Stewart.
Yeah, the offense rolling now. This is what you were hoping for in last night's ball game. This ground ball kind of up middle on the shortstop side of the bag. You can see even if this ball was caught by Echeverria, he's done his job. He's moved that runner over to third base.
Locke takes a strike here, so you have a man at first and nobody out for Jeff, so he'll do what he can to get Stewart to second base.
He needs to bunt the ball to Bohr. That's his job right here. Bunt it to Bohr.
And he bunts it the other way. And they get the force out at second. Just where he didn't want to bunt it, he bunted it. And Prado had the easy out at second base.
Good. Said all I needed to say.
I mean, look where Prado is.
Well, it's just self-explanatory why you bunt to Bohr. That picture, and then of course the result.
Back to the top of the order, Josh Harrison, 1 out with Locke the runner at first. Jay Hay walked and scored in the first inning. Stretched by Narveson, and the pitch. That's in the dirt for a ball. It's 2-0. Garrett Cole goes tomorrow night. Still searching for that 15th win. That has been eluding him. Last outing he pitched very, very well against the Giants, but came away with a no decision. So we'll see Garrett Cole tomorrow night against another Marlins left-hander, Justin Nicolino. 2-1 to Josh. Let that one go high. They want an appeal. Alan Porter says he didn't go, so it's 3-1. Narveson worked last season in Japan for the Yakult Swallows. Had 24 starts there, went 4-11. Had an earned run average of 453 in Yakult. And J-Hay walks for the second time. Narveson has issued 2 walks, both to Josh Harrison. Now the Pirates with 2 on and 1 out for Marte.
He's really having a tough time with that little short slider. He's throwing a couple where he wants to, but for the most part, he's not getting that pitch where he needs to. That's probably his easiest off-speed pitch for him to throw to a spot, and he's just not able to do it, at least so far.
Starling struck out swinging in the first.
There it is.
In the hole here, 0-1.
But even though he was able to get it over the plate right there, that's still, I don't think, where he wanted to throw it. Let her high down the middle of the plate.
Nothing in 2. He's seen 5 pitches. He's had 5 strikes.
It's behind the fastball, which isn't overpowering at all. It's a high 80s fastball. That one was 89. And he was way out in front of that slow curve last time. It's definitely been caught in the middle.
And this one's driven to right center field. Jeff Locke's going to get waved around. J-Hay heading from second to third. It is 4-1 Pittsburgh. Starling Marte with RBI number 62, and he's 1 for 2. 4th hit of the inning for the Pirates.
Might not get very many innings tonight out of Narveson. The Pirates are hitting it pretty hard.
He's at 39 pitches already.
He's throwing a lot of them right in the middle of the plate. Like I said, not really a lot of command of anything. And the way he's trying to pitch, especially the right-hand hitters, he needs to be able to put that little slide ball up on the hands where he wants to get it in on somebody, like he did to who was it, to Ramos for that little ground ball to shortstop. Remember that one? It was in on his hands.
Right.
That's where he needs to throw that pitch, and it's just not getting it in there. And when he leaves something out over the plate, it just doesn't have the character to make it through to the glove.
Pirates will be back home this weekend. They'll host the Colorado Rockies, and on Saturday night, 7:05 start. First 20,000 fans get a Bill Mazeroski replica statue, courtesy of Levin Furniture. Fun starts a Saturday night block party on Federal Street. Everybody's a winner also on an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. First and third. Harrison at third and Marte at first. McCutchen at the plate. And Narveson out of the stretch delivers. Strike 1. With an RBI double, average over 300 now. He started tonight at 299. Now he's at 301. 82 runs banded in. And the top run producers in the National League. Third in RBIs. 2 strikes on him.
Good changeup, good location on that pitch. That was a good spot. See right where he wanted to throw that ball. Muto had the glove right there. I mean, that's really how you judge the command of a pitcher when you're sitting at home watching on TV. How far is that catcher having to move the glove to get to the baseball every time?
Inside the catch, 1 and 2.
Even if the ball doesn't get to the glove, even if it's hit, if you watch the glove and see where it's moving, that'll give you a real good feel for the kind of control that pitcher has. Now, sometimes you got stuff guys out there that just have their pitches have great character, and they might not be able to put the ball with any consistency where they want it.
Marte takes off, and McCutchen hammers it way back. This one's gone. Home run number 20 for Andrew McCutchen, a 3-run shot. It is 7-1. Oh, did he bruise that baseball?
Well, that's what we like to see. This team's offense clicks when they start hitting home runs.
Six runs in the top of the second inning. Still one out.
Man, did he hit that one. Oh.
Ramos Ramirez now the bases empty. Pops this one up, foul right side. Drifting with it is Justin Bour, and he will make the catch. Looked like he was going to run out of room, but the ball twisted back. And there are now 2 down. 8 men have hit so far. The 9th will be Jung Ho next, but Andrew McCutchen puts a charge into this baseball.
Tried to come back with a good changeup. But look at the difference in the location. That one's belt high. The one that we were bragging about, saying it was a great pitch, he got that down at the knees, might even been an inch or so below the knees. He tried to do it again and just missed his spot by quite a bit. Went from just below the knees to belt high.
Jung Ho to right center field. Ozuna on the run. He will not get it. Big turnaround first for Jung Ho. A long single. The Pirates are batting around in the second inning on Narveson. Activity continuing. Eric Cordier checking on his status. May see Cordier in here sooner than later.
Like another high changeup. Not much working upstairs, except the fastball. He's got away with some fastballs up there. I think Jung Ho was thinking about a double. He was going to be made to stop, and the good throw coming in from Osuna made him stop and go back. But that's what you want to do. You don't take anything for granted. Run like you've hit a double, and that way, if they don't make you stop, you can keep going, get in scoring position. 2 outs. That's a big deal.
0-1 to Morse. He's 1 for 1 with a double. He hits this one well to center field, going back to Ozuna. He's got room right on the track to make the catch. 10 men come to the plate in the second inning, and 6 of them score. A 3-run home run by Andrew McCutchen. The big blast as Kutch rounds the bases. Home run number 20 for the Pirates center fielder.
Seven-1 Buccos after an inning and a half on Robbie and Smikowski. Was the lower level affiliates have see their season come to a close. The Pirates promoted a couple guys who performed well offensively. We're talking about Ke'Bryan Hayes and Kevin Kramer. Now, it's going to be Brian Hayes. He goes from the Gulf Coast League to the West Virginia Black Bears, and Kevin Kramer goes from the Black Bears to the West Virginia Power. Now, Farm Director Larry Broadway told me that Hayes came in very mature to the GCL, handled himself really well on the field. Now, they target guys toward the end of the GCL season to play under the lights, and they just felt Hayes was ready. Now, with Kramer, he did say that injuries did play a part in this, talking about Cole Tucker, who he addressed a little while ago. But with him being a big school guy from UCLA, he can handle the job. Now, this also gets him a chance to compete for a championship with the Power. Power off to a good second half of their season. They should be able to make a long run. Both guys high picks, Tim and Bob. Hayes in the first round, Kramer in the second, earlier this year.
Ozuna goes to right field. That one's going to be played off the wall by Harrison. And Ozuna will jog into second base with a leadoff double. Leadoff man in scoring position for the Marlins. It's up 7-1 here at the bottom of the second inning.
Lucky Brian's dad's going to be very happy. Charlie seeing his son already being moved up. And I like the fact that say he's very mature out on the field, knows what he's doing.
Cole Tucker sent out this tweet today. He said surgery went well today. Thanks to everyone for the kind words. Looking forward to getting stronger and back on the field in 2016. Wish him a lot of luck. Yelich is swinging a miss. Remember, after he was drafted last year, came to the ballpark, pressed a lot of people. Seemed to be a very mature and well-spoken young man. Represented himself very well. So only good things ahead for him.
Yep.
1-0 to Yelich. Nobody out. Man at second is Ozuna.
Hitting 330 is not bad either.
That's pretty good.
That'll move you up.
But for the guys that get moved up, isn't it important at this stage, their first year in pro ball, to maybe get some time under the lights now, you know, late in the season?
Oh yeah, it's always a kind of a good feeling to get into the off season knowing that you might be on the fast track. It's great for the young guys to get moved up just before the end of the year.
Gregory knows what it's like. He's been through the system. Yelich, ground ball to the right side. Walker had to go a long way for it. Morse gets back to the bag and makes the catch. Yelich is out. Ozuna advancing to third base. One out, runner at third. Well, if you want to be a part of the broadcast tonight, you can do it on Twitter at Root Sports Pick. Use the hashtag BucksBooth with questions, comments, and opinions. And today is National Dog Day. You knew that, right, Bob?
No, well, yeah, I did, because you told me a few minutes ago.
Today's National
before that,
Dog
I have to admit, I didn't know that.
We've been getting some pictures in already, but if you have a photo of your dog watching the Pirates tonight or wearing Pirates gear, send it to us via Twitter, hashtag BucksBooth. We may show a few of those tonight. National Dog Day in honor of the dog days of summer. Catcher is Real Muto. He takes in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's caught each game so far this series. Chris Narveson touched up for 6 runs in the second inning, 1 in the first. And Narveson has now given up a home run in 5 straight appearances. Dan Herron of the Cubs has the longest streak, having given up a home run in 7 straight for the Cubs. Narveson now 5 straight, giving up a long ball. It was a no-doubter and a half by McCutchen. Denny Hechavarria waiting on deck, the shortstop. 1 out, runner at third. And the pitch coming from Jeff. And a bouncer to Walker. Infield playing back, conceding the run, up by 6 runs. Now up by 5 runs. It's 7-2, and there are 2 men out. 7-2 ball game. This week's Inside Pirates Baseball, Jung-Ho Kang has taken advantage of his chance to play every day, and all of baseball has taken notice. Richie Hebner fills us in on his career in baseball after his retirement and much more. It's Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network, tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Stories on Jung-Ho and on Hebner. Comebacker off the bat of Echeverria. That's the third out. So, for the Marlins, they get a run on one hit, nobody left through two. Pirates 7, Marlins 2.
Brought to you by the Chevy Traverse and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history, August 26th, 1992. Pirates rookie Tim Wakefield defeated Tom Candiotti of the Dodgers 2-0 in the first matchup of knuckleballers in the National League since 1982. Wakefield scattered 6 hits for the victory. Jose Lean provided the offensive spark with a pair of hits, an RBI, and a run scored. Neil Walker up, got a run-scoring double his first time up. So Walker will lead off for the Pirates here in the top of the third inning. 7-8-9, Walker, Stewart, and Locke facing Narveson. This ball is ripped foul just beyond the third base dugout. Pittsburgh fan with a great catch.
Nice catch. Barehanded that baby. I tell you, that's a great snag.
He's
That's a lot.
Acting like he's been there before.
That's a line drive. I just catch that.
Probably has been. Popped up. Shallow center. Coming on is Ozuna. He'll look up into the ceiling and make the catch. You know what else happened on this date?
No.
1939, Bob. The first
39.
ever.
Let's see, September 30. No, it's not September.
No,
yet.
August 26th, 1939. The first ever television broadcast of baseball. It was between the Cincinnati Reds and Brooklyn Dodgers at Ebbets Field. Red Barber called it. There was no Allegheny Health Network Supermo. There was no.
It wasn't a lot.
No fun stuff. They just had 2 cameras, 2 stationary cameras.
That's all you need.
Yeah. So 1939 on this date, very first baseball game on TV. And look how it's changed since.
How about the graphics?
Yeah.
Like, look, did they have a score bug up there?
No.
The corner?
They didn't keep pitch counts. They didn't give you the miles per hour of the pitch.
The graphics were like just a little thing at the very bottom of the screen. You see it like once a game, guy's batting average. That was it. No shots from the dugout.
No shots from the dugout. But think of it, though. You know, it was a blank canvas at that time. How do we televise baseball on TV? What do we do?
They're still trying to figure it out.
2-2 pitch. And that one's low. Well, it seems like every year or so there's a new wrinkle.
No crowd shots.
This one's fouled.
Which meant no signs to hold up to try and get on TV.
Right. Think of the industry. There wasn't a sign store back then either to sell those signs.
Yep. There we go.
There you go. That looks like a little sandwich board. You might see a guy on a street corner back in 1939 carrying. Stu fouls it back again. Pedro seeing some time in the dugout with the 3 left-handers the Marlins are running out there in a row. This one's popped up and looks like it's playable for either Bohr or the second baseman Rojas. Rojas will make the catch. Two men out. Well, we asked you earlier to send in your dog photos on National Dog Day.
Woof. Do we have dog pictures in 39?
I think we do. Well, not in 39. Look at this guy.
Oh, that's nice. There.
Look at that. Kutch happens. He's got his McCutcheon jersey on. He's got the outfield glasses. Very good. That's Wojo, 4-1-2.
That was a cool looking dog. I like that one. Are we going to have more?
I hope so.
All right. I didn't put my glasses on for that one.
Must have been important.
Yeah, well, I want to see the dog picture.
1 ball and 1 strike to Jeff. Jeff reached on a fielder's choice. Sacrifice bunt that went the wrong way.
I think we should show a dog picture tonight for every run we score.
All right. There's a chopper to third base. Prado will play it off the grass.
We score, the dog scores.
7-2 after 2.5. Baseball, MLB.TV serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.TV today. Well, Jeff's on the hill. He's got a 5-run lead right now as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. And Narveson will go to the plate for the first time. Takes outside ball 1. Narveson has been to the plate 3 times. 0 for 3. 4 times you want to count the sacrifice bunt. Counts as a plate appearance. 2-0 pitch from Locke. Narveson taking all the way, and he takes a strike.
Nobody walks now. Big lead, especially the pitcher. Right after everybody.
Must throw strikes, especially to him. Three and 1 to Narveson. Now it's 3 and 2. Locke's payoff. Struck him out. 1 out for the Marlins in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Let's take a look at this Point Park tweet, Bob. Oh, look at this guy.
Oh, he's on the bridge.
He is on the Clemente Bridge.
I think he's getting ready for pup night, maybe, huh?
Some pirate bling on there. Very nice. Made of the Boston.
What's he sticking his tongue out at?
The other team.
No, it's a good idea. I like it. That was part of the other team's bus driving by.
Yeah, that's a great picture. Good backdrop. Cole Gillespie grounded out to Morse in the 1st inning. And he hits one up in the air to left field. Marte racing after it. 2 down. Two gone, and the number 2 hitter in the order, Miguel Rojas. Rojas has not appeared in the series until tonight. Popped up foul to the catcher Stewart in the 1st inning. Swings and misses. And we've seen Jeff. Again, we talked about the fact, Bob, that he's only gone 5 innings in his last several starts. And Clint Hurdle was asked about that, why you see a second half drop off from Jeff. Thought that maybe earlier in his career, just a strength issue. He has added strength, he has added some weight, and now he looks at it as an educational process. He says it's all still a work in progress for him. 0-2 pitch. One shot to right field. That is a fair ball, rolling to the corner. Rojas around first and into second with a double. 2-out double for Miguel Rojas, his 4th 2-bagger of the year.
Watch the location on this 0-2 pitch. Upset with that. You can see him look away in disgust.
Peeks in now at Martin Prado, who homered off him in the 1st. 1 on, 2 out. Pitch to Prado is a strike. Still, as a pitcher who's relatively young, and just thinking back from experience, Bob, what is it like late in the season? Is there a fatigue factor that can sometimes kick in?
You know, I have to answer that as no. As an older pitcher, yes. When I got, in fact, the last couple of years, yeah, I definitely could. You felt fatigued. As a younger guy, no, I don't. It's the opposite, really. The young guys they're still in their prime. They're young. They'll never physically be any better than you are in your 20s. So it's nothing really that's physical. Just, you know, in this case here, he made a bad 0-2 pitch. I mean, I think sometimes we look too deeply into things, other than, wow, he's making bad pitches.
It comes down to execution then?
Yeah.
More than anything?
Well, yeah. You can't make a general statement about it. Everybody, you know, you got to think about, okay, what individual are we talking about, and what has been the problem? And it's never really the same. I mean, you can't have one thing for everyone. They're all individuals. They're all their own, you know, separate human beings, and they all have differences.
Walks 3-1 to Prado. 3-2, got it past him. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Oh, the count full to Martin Prado. Rojas off second base. And a ground ball towards short. Jung-Ho gathers it up. That's the inning. Nothing across, one hit and one left. On to the fourth inning in South Florida. Wants us to wish his wife Colleen a happy birthday tonight. So Todd doing the right thing, making sure that we wish Colleen a happy birthday. And we want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag #PittDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Top of the order up for the Pirates to start things in the fourth. Must be looking at some dog photos.
I hope so. We keep scoring runs. We got to keep showing them.
Well, Josh has been on base twice. He's scored twice. He's walked twice. He's got 2 strikes on it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Darvison at 65 pitches. And he hasn't gone more than 44 in any outing this year for the Marlins. Until tonight. And a soft liner drops in. Nobody's at first base, and Josh beats it out for a single. My goodness. First of all, it looked catchable for Bohr. But Josh will take it, and a leadoff single for J-Hay.
Not sure what to say about this one.
I thought Bohr was going to put that in his back pocket.
Well, if he had to take a step back, it'd have hit him. What is that all about? Oh, J-Hay's just thinking, wow, I got a hit out of that?
Here is Marte at the plate. Time is called. Well, see, Dan Jennings, the manager, is on the Marlins broadcast right now. I wonder what he had to say about
his
that
comment
play.
about that last one.
Wow. Turned an easy out into a single.
Well, there has to be an explanation. So I've come up with one.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Love to hear it.
Okay. We gotta wait for this pitch.
Marte hits one in the air to center field. Going back, Ozuna.
Jay is tagging.
Ozuna makes the catch. Jay heading for second base, and he'll stop. Good throw by Ozuna. Marte, a long fly out. He's 1 for 3.
Okay, this is it. Here's the ball is kind of like that little short pop fly. All right,
Okay.
it's not in the air very high. Okay, it's right here. Right there. Here's Bohr going to catch it.
Okay.
Rojas, who's also looking up
there.
Yeah, with the ball. The ball's coming in. Rojas is coming in like this, but he knows it's not going to be caught. He knows he can't catch it. So what he is yelling to Bohr is that I got it, but what he means is I got the ground ball, so you go cover the bag. But what Bohr thinks he's saying is I got the pop fly. So Bohr, who has to give way on all pop flies to the second baseman, peels backwards to get away from the ball so that Rojas can make the catch. But Rojas was calling the ground ball, not the fly ball. So now the ball bounces and there's nobody at first base. There you go.
Can we quote you on that?
Yep. Is there another explanation for that?
I can't think of one.
Neither can I. That was all I could come
you're
up
right.
with.
I mean, if you're first baseman, you hear the guy behind you say, I got it, you back up.
I think I'll bet you that Rojas probably said I got it to tell Bohr to get the bag base in his, like don't try to go after that. I'll take it. Didn't mean that he would catch it in the air, but Bohr thought he was going to catch it in the air.
Gotcha. Chased one.
They'll definitely talk that over in the dugout. There's a good changeup.
3 pitches, not one of them in the zone.
He threw Kutch a good changeup, that same type pitch for a strike. Tried to come back to it again, left it bell high, and it went out of the ballpark.
Ramirez taking all the way, takes ball 1. You may want to go down to the dugout and explain that for them, because if that's their reason, which it probably is.
I could be their lawyer. They're going to need one when they get back to the dugout.
That's what I mean. They need representation.
I could just tell them, now you guys don't say a thing. We take care of this.
I wonder if they run close enough together into the dugout where they can set it up before they get in the dugout. 2-0 to Ramirez from Narveson. Pulled foul.
Sofield had to quickly back away from that one. Almost got him in the shin.
There goes Jay Hay, and Ramirez fouls it back. Well, last night was a tough night for the Pirates in more ways than one. If you're watching the standings, take a look at this foul ball. Realmuto lost his mask, but both the Cardinals and the Cubs won on the West Coast last night. Cubs beating the Giants and the Cardinals beating the Diamondbacks for the second straight game. Pirates losing. They dropped 4.5 back of St. Louis. 37 games to play after tonight. Still a lot of baseball left. A lot of head-to-head matchups coming. And Clint Hurdle's team knows they still have a very realistic chance of winning the division. And 2 words you never hear in the clubhouse: wild card. Don't bring it up, don't talk about it, you don't hear much about it.
No reason to bring it up right now.
No, still focused on winning the division. Just taking care of yourself every single night. Can't worry about what the other guys are doing. You got to worry about what your team's doing.
You look out there. They're aware. They'll check the scoreboard out on the outfield fence occasionally during the game.
Popped up. Drifting foul. Bohr will look at it as it goes into the seats.
But it has no effect on what they're doing. It's more of just kind of a curiosity thing. It's natural. I mean, who wouldn't look? But you don't ever think, oh, we got to win this game up there. They're winning or losing. It doesn't matter. You have to win every game no matter what. There's no more winning of the series or any of that. It's all about every night. You got to play to win from here on out.
Ramirez will take first base. 2-out walk. And the Pirates with runners at first and second. Jung Ho Kang 1 for 2 coming up. And you got to think that the leash is getting shorter. Yeah, Cortier's back up. Second time for him. Get himself ready to the bullpen. He's coming in now. So Narvison's night is through. Eric Cortier, who was ejected in game 1, is coming in now for the Marlins. The Pirates have chased the Miami starter, and they lead 7-2 in the top of the fourth. The first 20,000 fans get a free Pirates t-shirt, compliments of Trib Total Media. Enjoy food, live entertainment, and the Line and Kugel Bar before the game at the Friday night block party on Federal Street. It's presented by Barrel Automotive. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Good looking shirt. We'll see you out at PNC Park Friday. We thank Jung Ho for modeling that shirt. He's 1 for 2 with a base hit in the second inning. Eric Cortier, who was in 2013 briefly with the Pirates, was ejected in game 1 Thursday.
He was briefly in the game.
And the home plate umpire is turning around. He wants the public address announcer.
I think he wants
the music.
He wants the dancers off the dugouts. Is what he wants.
Yeah. They should probably not have their back to the field with the game in play.
Trying to play, and then they won't quit dancing.
Jung Ho hits a short hopper to Hechavarria. Good play. Get the force out at second. Nothing across for the Pirates in the fourth. Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Andrew McCutchen 2 for 3 tonight. A double, a run batted in, and a 3-run homer. He has 4 RBIs. Pirates with a 5-run lead, bottom of the 4th inning on the UPMC scoreboard. Jeff Locke will face 4, 5, and 6 in the Marlins order. First baseman Justin Bour first. Delivers a strike to him. Bour struck out swinging in the first. Jeff tried to go inside again and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pretty good pitch.
1-1. Just off the plate. 2 balls and a strike now to Justin Bour. So Narveson goes 79 pitches in this game. 52 for strikes as Bour hits a little one past Locke, and that's going to be a base hit. Jeff couldn't get the glove down. And Bour is aboard.
And with the shift going on, if you don't get it, there's nobody there who's going to be able to make any kind of a play. They have to get the glove down in that grass. We were talking earlier about the bunt, pointing out that's not really the good side as far as fielding the baseball for Locke. You saw it there on the swinging bunt.
Ozuna lines it to left. 2 on 2 hits. Ozuna is 2 for 2. He had a double in the second and scored a run.
Pitch in the middle of the plate, up a little bit.
Two on, nobody out. Batter is Christian Yelich. Yelich activated off the disabled list yesterday. Having a right knee contusion caused him to miss a couple of weeks. He ended up going 2 for 4 last night with an RBI double. Just 23 years old. Seems like he's been around a while. Well, because he has. Broke into the big leagues at a very young age. Baby-faced guy. Backs out of the way of that pitch, and it's 1-1.
Hawk needs him to hit a ground ball to somebody right here. Another base hit. Probably gets the bullpen going. That's not what Locke wants to see. Not when he started off with that big lead.
There we go. Ball to second base. Walker flips to Jung Ho. Back to first. Double play.
There it was. That's absolutely perfect. 2 quick outs.
Bour over to third base.
Comes a fastball inside. Just ties him up so he gets that little ground ball. Can't get the head of the bat out on the baseball. Beautiful pitch.
This is our Chick-fil-A double play tonight. 2 down, runner at third. And the batter will be the catcher, JT Realmuto, who's 0 for 1. He grounded out to Walker in the second inning. One and 0 to Realmuto. 242 on the year. For a strike.
This is the at bat where you really have to stay focused and make sure you concentrate. Don't have any kind of a little bit of a letdown after that ground ball double play. You're feeling really good about that last pitch, the double play ball and everything, but you still have one more hitter to get.
To center field, right in McCutchen. Probably has to move.
Thank you.
Nothing across, 2 hits and 1 left. We move to inning number 5 at Marlins Park. Swinging him here tonight. 8 hits, 7 runs, and a 7-2 lead as we start the 5th. Michael Morse will lead off, facing Eric Courtier. Morse 1 for 2. He had a sharp double his first time up. Flying out to center field. His second time up, and that was in the same inning. He led off the 6-run second. Got on and scored, and then he made the final out of that inning. Strike call. Hard throwing Courtier, 98 miles an hour. And his contract selected from AAA New Orleans on the 17th of August. He hasn't been with a big club long. 2 balls and 1 strike. Never ejected from Monday's game. It was the first time he was ejected. And he hit Sean Rodriguez with a pitch. And 2 consecutive innings, 2 new pitchers, and each one of them hit the first man they faced. Courtier happened to be the second guy, so he was run. Two and 2 to Morse. Strikes out looking. One down. Neil Walker coming to the plate. Take a look at our Barrel Automotive League leaders stat. Pirates have been hit more than anybody else. 75 times the Pirates have been hit by pitches.
Nice cushion there too, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not like anybody's about to catch them.
I don't think anyone's catching them.
Yeah, they've put that out of sight. 75.
Walker gets the bat left-handed for the first time tonight.
Actually, they lead the other side of that category too.
The hitting guys.
They've hit the most.
Fetch was hit last night on the foot. The Pirates pitchers have hit opposing batters 63 times. So it's a going to be -12. Marte gets hit quite a bit. Jung Ho Kang also
leads the team, doesn't he?
Jung Ho has been hit 16 times. Marte 15 times. Nothing in 2.
Last fastball had a little giddy up on it. 99.
Courtier appeared with the Giants this year for 7 games. They released him on the 1st of August. He signed with the Marlins. They sent him to AAA. Have him up here in the big leagues now. He spent most of the season in AAA Sacramento. Or part of it, I should say. Began the season on the disabled list. Here's the 1-2 coming to Walker. Two balls and 2 strikes to the Pirates' second baseman. Here's Stewart on deck. Up in the air it goes, short left. Echeverria, the shortstop, makes the catch, and there are 2 gone. Oh, we told you it's National Dog Day. What's he doing here?
Wait a minute now.
He's got a Maz jersey on.
That does not look dog-like.
My cat, who acts more like a dog. Well, get a dog. If you want a cat that acts like a dog, get a dog. But yeah, it's a custom jersey made for Maz, the cat.
It's got to be custom, or a cat's not going to wear it. Right?
A little finicky.
Finicky, yeah. They're not going to put on something off the rack. They're cats. They'll be treated a little differently. Something custom, that's fine. They'll do that.
Stewart hits this one in the air to right field. Going on Gillespie. 3 up and 3 down. We played 4.5 in Miami, and the Pirates lead it 7-2. Thumbs up so far here in Miami. A 7-2 Pirate lead. Starting the home half of the 5th inning. Great pictures given to us tonight from the Health Network Supermo.
Slow the fish. Supermo slow. They're in no hurry, are they?
This one's yanked down the left field line. It's a
foul.
Hooks foul. Long strike. Those fish are always in Supermo.
They're slow, just cruising, conserving energy. Hoping there's no cats with a pirate uni on.
There we go.
The cat would love to watch that.
The cat would sit there all day and just stare. Make them nervous. Echeverria, 3-1 count. And there's a strike and the count is full. D. Gordon off tonight. Stole 4 bases last night, tying a club record. Only Gordon and Billy Hamilton, only 2 players in the big leagues to have games in which they have stolen 4 bases. Leadoff walk to Echeverria. Does change the complexion of a game. He's one of those special players with gifted speed that when he gets on first and nobody in front of him, it's not if, it's when. Cordier will try to bunt the man over. Puts the bunt down. Walker covering at first base. Sacrifice for Cordier. And there's one down with Echeverria safe at second base.
Yeah, good bunt, textbook. That's all right. The sacrifice bunt with the score being like it is. Accept that. No problem.
Let's take the out when they give it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
At 63 pitches. Looking to get through the bottom of the 5th here and then try to work his way through the 6th after that. Gillespie, the right fielder, takes a strike at the knees. He's 0 for 2. Gillespie bounced out to Morse at first base in the 1st and then flied to Marte and left in the 3rd inning. Down the right field side, foul ball. The little guy says, "Don't worry, they'll get it for me."
Not much competition there for that one.
Wasn't worried about it. He said, "That'll get it. Don't come in my neighborhood." He's staked his claim to those group of seats.
Look at, don't throw it back on the field.
Keep it there. The glove now.
Yeah, better get ready. Here comes another one.
This one will be playable for Jay Hay. Makes the catch. And the throw coming. Cut off by Walker. Echeverria was off the bag. He had to go back and tag and then made it to third base. Gillespie lines out to right, and there are 2 gone. He just went back to touch up.
All you got to do is touch the bag. After it's caught, obviously.
Second baseman Miguel Rojas. He doubled in the 3rd inning. Echeverria leadoff walk. He's at third base and the pitch. Inside for a ball. The 1-0 pitch. That is up and in. Two-0 pitch. This one is in the air to left, right at Marte. And he makes the waist-high catch. No runs, no hits, 1 left. We're through 5, 7-2 Buccos. the Marlins still has hope tonight. He is trying to entertain. Let's take a look at the Nissan road ahead. One more game in this 4-game set. We're on the air 6:30 tomorrow night. Justin Nicolino, the left-hander for the Marlins, will oppose Pirates right-hander Garrett Cole as Cole searches for win number 15. Nice night here in Miami, Florida. Very comfy inside. As the Pirates put 6 runs up in the second off of Chris Narveson after getting a single run in the first. Eric Cordier, second pitcher used by the Marlins tonight, delivers a strike to Jeff Locke. Jim fouls it back 0-2. You see the velocity of Cordier, and certainly Cole can relate to that.
Yep.
High 90s.
Both have the same fastball.
Got a piece of that 98. Kutch with a 3-run homer in the second inning. RBI double in the first. Kutch now climbing the RBI list. He's up to 85. So he's just 7 behind Nolan Arenado of Colorado for second place. Pirates will see Arenado starting Friday night. Rockies come in. First of 7 games against Colorado, 3 here in Pittsburgh, and then the last road trip of the year, we'll have 4 there. This one slapped to short. Echeverria throws him out. There's 1 out for the Pirates in the 6th. Jeff is out. And back to the top of the order, Josh Harrison. Harrison 1 for 1. He's walked twice, scored twice.
Doing what a leadoff hitter's supposed to do, get on base.
And between Harrison and Polanco, Pirates leadoff guys have been getting on a lot. Scoring a bunch of runs too. Polanco took an 0 for 4 last night against the left-hander Brad Hand, so Glenn Hurdle going with the right-handed hitter Harrison tonight in that spot. Left-handed starter Narveson out of the game, but Jay Hay still in there, fouls this one off.
Definitely a different look from Narveson. A lefty, a soft tosser, and now a real hard throwing right-hander.
Look at this catch ball. Off the bounce.
That's more of a rebound.
Whoop.
Whoa.
Good assist from
he challenged it right after it.
Well, from what we've seen tonight, Pirate fans are way ahead on the scoreboard in foul balls.
There's enough of them out there.
There's been a great turnout of Pirate fans here in Miami. Greg and I were leaving the park last night, going out to meet you outside the ballpark, and we met a bunch more that were down here from Pittsburgh. Harrison pops out. They were 2 away.
I was trying to get a cab last night.
That's a whole other story.
Wow.
Yeah, the police got involved.
Cab drivers arguing over who would have the pleasure of our company.
Yeah. Some cities we can't find a cab. Other cities they fight over us.
Yeah.
Two outs, base is empty. Pirates half of the 6th inning. 7-2. Bucks up. Out hitting the Marlins 8-5. Marte with a hit tonight and a run batted in. He's 1 for 3. Two balls and no strikes. Marte's got to wear a lot of gear. He gets hit by pitches pretty often, so he's got the elbow pad.
Well, the most important one is a little bit of a cushion, a protective thing on the back of his left hand. Because he won't move those hands out of the way very often, and that's where you can really get, miss a few months. You get hit in the back of that hand, and then one of them small bones gets cracked. Now you're sitting out for a while. I see a lot of hitters wearing those nowadays. Look like they're built right into the batting glove.
Bouncer to Echeverria. He gets Marte. 3 up, 3 down for the Pirates in the 6th. Good defense from the Bucco fans here in Florida.
Turns not only to face the team he started the season with, but also near his hometown of Fort Lauderdale, where he was born and raised. Now, he told me he forgot about the start to the season, and really, he just feels like he's playing the Marlins in this series. He said what happened put him in a great spot right now, and he's thankful for the opportunity he's been given with the Pirates. Now, as they're playing at home, he said it was relaxing, but also kind of unique. He said of all the cities he's played in the big leagues, and this is the 6th, this is actually the furthest he's ever had to commute to the ballpark. It took him a good 30 minutes and change without traffic, which, as you know, down here in South Florida, Tim, can be quite a dicey proposition.
Yeah, it's traffic with a capital T sometimes. Not just in South Florida either. Sometimes in the Gulf Coast. Martin Prado leading off. He homered in the first. 1 for 2. He'll take a strike from Locke. Locke enters the 6th inning of work. An important inning for Jeff, considering what has happened.
Yeah, this has been the one day he hasn't been able to make it through for, I think, before the All-Star break, the last time he was able to get in 6. And July 19th at Milwaukee, 7 1/3. You would love to get these 3 outs. The first one.
Backhanded play by Jung Ho, and he throws out Prado. And there's one gone in the home half of the 6th inning. Game number 125 on the regular season. 37 left to play before the postseason. Pirates 75 and 49. They've won 5 of their last 6 on the road. Pirates 2 over 500 on the road, 31 and 29. And after tonight, only 4 games left in the month of August. 1 here and then 3 at home against the Rockies. September will be a ton of action against the Central Division. A good chance for the Pirates to improve their record against the Central. Outside the Central, the record's been fantastic. And Bohr foul tips that one into the glove of Stewart. Like he was trying to chop a tree down here.
Take one of the limbs off the top of the tree.
It's down and in. So when you look at the last month of the season, Bob, all but 7 games. There's 3 against the Dodgers, 4 against the Rockies. All the rest of them are against the National League Central.
It's the way you like it. Fate in your own hands. Don't have to get any help.
You get home and away with everybody. And to right field. It's caught for the second out. Jay right there to get it. And the Cardinals taking on Arizona later. John Lackey against Patrick Corbin. That's the pitching matchup there. Lackey's been pitching pretty well for the Cardinals lately. And the Cubs and San Francisco. Jake Peavy going for the Giants against Kyle Hendricks of the Cubs. Hendricks 6-5. Peavy 3-6. Pirates handed him his last loss. Be nice for the Giants to get hot. They got the Cardinals coming up after the Cubs.
Thing I remember about Peavy's game against us. Remember covering first?
Yeah.
Falling, stumbling, diving. He tagged the bag.
Got his hand on the bag. Ozuna takes a strike. You look at what's happening out west. The Giants trailing the Dodgers by 2.5 games. They've got a much better chance to win the division than they do getting a wild card spot. Cubs now and the Pirates both comfortably in front in that area. At least for now.
So nobody's talking wild card.
Oh,
not even the Giants.
No, they're talking about a division. They still have a chance. Good chance.
Well, that's maybe their only chance.
They have 6 games remaining with the Dodgers, and they have played them pretty well this year. Three and two outs, base is empty. Pitch to Marcell Ozuna. And that's strike 3. So Jeff makes it through 6. Retires the side in order, striking out Ozuna. All kids 14 and under receive a pitch and grip baseball. Thanks to Chevron. Get to the ballpark early and let the kids explore the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. After the game, kids can run the bases, courtesy of the original Pizza Logs. For tickets, go to Pirates.com.
Can't wait to get my hands on one of those up in a booth.
Yeah. Well, Sunday we'll get one of those. You and I'll be up there Sunday and show us all those grips.
Finally figure out how to throw a slider after all these years.
Might help you. We're going to have to hire a 14-year-old kid to go get the ball and bring it up, though.
I'll make a trade.
Kutch has 2 extra base hits tonight.
Think I can get one if I make a trade?
Oh, yeah. What are you going to trade? What are you going to offer?
I don't know. I was thinking about your laptop.
Do I get a new one?
No, I'm just going to take this one. And then you won't have to read the drop-ins anymore.
Oh. Think of it that way.
Yeah, see, there's something good in it.
Jeff's numbers through 6.
There's those 6 innings. Haven't seen that in a while. Only 1 base on balls tonight. That's good.
Ball and 2 strikes, and Kutch looks at it upstairs, 2-2. Three-run home run in the 2nd inning for Andrew. He clubbed it. Literally, he hit it over the nightclub. 2-2 pitch. It's down and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kutch.
It's a little slow in the nightclub tonight.
Yeah. We'll see the flashing lights like we normally do.
No.
Payoff pitch. Kutch looks at strike 3. Got him with a breaking ball. Second time McCutcheon's gone out on strikes.
Does look like it's 4 people. Yep, right there on the knees.
Pretty good pitch.
I don't think Kutch would agree with that. Look on his face was, no, that was low.
Still driven in 4 runs tonight. Still been a good night.
Oh yeah, not upset at all about it. I mean, that's been a great night for the Pirates. Got the early lead, a real nice, comfortable lead. Jumped out 7-1.
Ramirez takes low and away. As you mentioned, Cordier was with the Pirates in 2013. Spent his time in AAA with Indianapolis, had 44 appearances there. Ended up going 4-2 with a .458 earned run average. And the next year was with the Giants. Spent the majority of his season in AAA with the Giants in Fresno. The Giants sent him to their new AAA affiliate Sacramento this year. And was released on the 1st of August. Picked up by the Marlins. Went to AAA, and here he is now. 3-0, ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Ramirez. Second time he has drawn a base on balls. With 1 out, Pirates have a base runner in the 7th. National Dog Day today, so we've asked you to send your pictures to us.
Just holding the baseball. Looks like he's got a 4-seam fastball grip.
Nice.
Probably a hard thrower.
Where's the hat? Well,
oh wait, no, I take that back. No, that's a 2-seamer. I had to put my glasses on. That's a sinker baller, that dog.
sinker slider dog.
Yeah. It keeps the ball low.
Looking to dig out some ground balls. Jung Ho was 1 for 3. He singled in the 2nd inning. Had a long single to right center field. Nothing in 2. Jung Ho behind in the count.
noticed that almost all dogs have a real good handle on the strike zone. They don't swing at many bad pitches. They all love to take a walk.
Always. Not back to the dugout, though. Ho strikes out for the second time tonight. He's 1 for 4. Cordia gave him 3 pretty good pitches.
Came inside with the hard stuff, and then probably not where he wanted the slider, but it worked. A little bit of a backup pitch.
Michael Morse is 1 for 3. Hitting .229. Morse fouls this one back. Getting ready to deliver this 0-1 pitch. 1 on and 2 out. Morris hammers this one foul and out of play. Morris arrived with the Pirates. I remember having a conversation with him when we were in St. Louis. He said how happy he was to be with the Pirates in the middle of a pennant race. He said things just didn't go very well for him in Miami, even though it's his hometown. He said that playing for the Pirates was something he's really fortunate to be able to do.
Yeah, he kind of came out smelling like a rose. Really tough here in Miami on a team that's going nowhere, and now he's in the middle of the pennant race. You never know.
He goes down on strikes. Well, Cordia strikes out the side. 7th inning stretch in Miami. After that, he said some help from his defense and has been able to keep things under control.
Yeah, he really has been able to make the pitches when he really needed to. And I thought that the big one tonight was right there. Yelich got jammed, hit into the double play when he had first and second, nobody out. And that was huge for him. They've thrown a lot of strikes, just one base on balls through the first 6 innings. That's how you're supposed to pitch when you get that big lead.
Facing the left fielder, Christian Yelich. Pretty consistent by inning. 17 has been the most number of pitches he's thrown in any one inning. 11 the fewest. If you go out and get 11 pitch innings all the time, you'd be in great shape. 1-1 to Yelich. Bounces this one foul. There's something I wanted to bring up to you earlier. The Astros beat the Yankees again today.
Yeah.
Sean Rodriguez out at first base here late in the ball game. And the Astros have been doing something pretty interesting lately in terms of pitching and defense. They've held their opposition to 2 runs or fewer in 9 straight games. Would you have any possible idea the last team that has done that to an opponent in baseball? Yelich, ground ball to second base. Walker throws him out.
No, but apparently it's a team that I'm familiar with. Or you would have asked me.
It's a team you were on. 92 Pirates.
No, I didn't know that.
But that's I mean, when you have 9 straight games and you hold the opposition to 2 runs or fewer, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, it means you're a darn good team, and we were. We were a very good team, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you were.
No, that's
what I was trying to tell you.
That's a great stat. When when you're doing that, and that's how divisions are won. Through the pitching staff, keeping the other team down, don't let them score. It's like that. I guess in what sport is it not really about defense? It's the same way in baseball.
Ramirez throws out Real Muto. 2 down. Keeps getting some ground balls here late in the ball game.
Teams that can shut the other team down, no matter what sport you're talking about, they're going to end up being pretty darn good when it comes down to the end of the year. And that's really what the Pirates have been doing this year. First half of the season, the offense just was it's kind of iffy. It wasn't until the second half, till July, when they really started breaking out. And they were just hitting their way along. And pitcher held them in there.
Yeah, nice play by Rodriguez at the end of that. 3 ground balls, 3 outs. It took Jeff just 8 pitches to get through the bottom half of the 7th.
Curl 2.
By Allegheny Health Network, Health for All. By Kenny Ross, Just Ask a Neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Jeff Locke, end of the night, he goes through 7. Gives up just 2 earned runs on 5 hits. Hugs all the way around the dugout for Jeff. His last inning, his most efficient inning. Just 8 pitches, got 3 ground ball outs. And Jeff, the pitcher of record, in position to win his 7th game of the year.
Absolutely what we were looking for from him tonight. Everything just kind of fell into place.
7 runs on 8 hits for the Pirates, 2 runs on 5 hits for the Marlins. And pitching against his hometown team right now is Scott McGough out of Plum High School. 3rd game this year with the Marlins. 2nd game in this series against the Pirates. It's loaded Neil Walker. For McGough, a high school player out of Pittsburgh, certainly aware of Neil Walker. Now he gets to face him here. And gives up a single to him up the middle. Walker's 2nd hit of the ball game. He's 2 for 3.
Plum versus Pine Ridge.
That's it.
Rams won that one.
Casey McGee is out there playing 3rd base now, as the Marlins have made some changes defensively. And Rojas moves from 2nd base to shortstop. Martin Prado moves from 3rd base to 2nd base. Pitch low to Stewart. .289 for Stu. RBI single in the 2nd inning. In high school, McGough at Plum was mostly an infielder. There's a chopper to 3rd base. Charging is McGee. Throwing on the run. He gets Stewart. And advancing to 2nd base is Neil Walker.
Most of us were.
At one time or another.
At some point, they find out you can't hit, so they make you a pitcher.
Now, he graduated in 2008 from Plum High School, and the Pirates drafted him. 46th round. He didn't sign. Ended up choosing a baseball scholarship to the University of Oregon.
46th round draft choice. That's a pretty good choice to go to college. You don't want to sign when you're that low if you can go get an education instead. And you know, it still could lead to a pro career, as it has. I always think, coming out of high school, unless somebody's making a significant investment into you, if you have options to get college paid for, you should probably do that. And if you're good enough, still be good enough.
1 ball and 1 strike to Pedro.
Went to Oregon, though. That's kind of a long way.
It's a long way, yeah, but became a Duck. Went to Eugene, Oregon. Learned how to pitch and became a good one. McGough's delivery. And Pedro fouls it off. Dodgers drafted him in the 5th round. So he went from being a 46th rounder in 2008 to a 5th rounder in 2011. Signed with the Dodgers. And then not last July, but a couple of Julys back, he was part of the Hanley Ramirez deal with the Dodgers and Marlins, and then ended up here with Miami. Anthony Eovaldi came from the Dodgers to the Marlins in that deal as well. Eovaldi now pitching for the Yankees. 2-2 pitch. And that misses. It's 3-2 to Pedro. Well, 1 week ago, McGough was called up. Pedro fouls this off. And it was significant not only for McGough, but significant for the University of Oregon, because they had lost baseball for a while. They reinstated baseball, and he is the first Oregon Duck to reach the majors since Oregon brought baseball back. Pedro walks. Runners at first and second and one out. Time now for our Data Strong fan photo of the game, brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's take a look at what we have. That's got to be a dog, of course. Chrissy Thomas. Look at that, the 1970s hat, the early 70s hat there, the T-shirt, collar. It's a great picture. Pitch to Josh Harrison is low. 7-2, Pirates lead it, top of the 8th. 2 on, 1 out. Facing Pittsburgher, Scott McGough. Greg Brown did an interview with Scott yesterday on the radio pregame, and he asked him a question about our radio engineer at home, Doran Check, who was also a math teacher at Plum. And he said Mr. Check was the toughest teacher he had in high school.
Now, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. I'm not sure, Doran, that he was going to be the toughest that he had.
Popped up to the right side. This will be infield fly. So J.K. automatically out. Moore makes the catch. And there are 2 gone for the Pirates in the 8th.
It's always nice having Doran in the booth, though, with us. It's kind of like when we're on the road. We got Rock to do our math. And get Doran there to take care of all the problems. They have it all,
including Marte. Marte 1 for 4 with an RBI base hit. He also scored a run in the second inning. Pirates battled around in the second off starter Chris Narveson. Narveson lasted just 3 2/3, giving up 7 earned runs. Two on, 2 out. 0-2 count on Marte. He strikes out, so McGough whiffs Marte. The Pirates get a hit and they leave 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th.
and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Getting ready to raise that. He's been keeping it safe right there. A few more outs to go. He can raise it up. Great looking old Bill Mazeroski black game jersey. Casey McGee will have his first plate appearance tonight. Started at first base in game 1 Thursday. He'll face a new pitcher, Joe Blanton. McGee began the year with the Giants. Didn't work out so well there.
Blanton's numbers as a Pirate, outstanding. What a job he has done.
McGee pops it up. Shallow right. Coming in is Jay Hay. And one gone. So Blanton comes in, gets the first out quickly. Joe's done a really nice job since taking his spot in the Pirate bullpen. Gillespie takes a strike. Gillespie starting in right field tonight. He's 0 for 3. Pitch outside. Gillespie takes another strike. 1 and 2.
Hey, you watch Blanton pitch. You just, I do. I wonder, like, how did he ever get to the point to where he wasn't playing anymore?
It's a good question. He was ready to hang him up too last year. He said he was fine with it. He was done. Started playing catch again, got the bug, and said, yeah, I can do this. Had a little encouragement from former Pirate Zach Duke, who moved to Nashville from Texas. And generally find certain players that live in the same areas work out at the same places. Zach said, hey, you know, you still got it. Well, 2 men out. Let's go down and check in with Robbie.
Well, you're talking about guys ready to hang him up. A.J. Burnett, hopefully after a World Series run this year, will hang up the cleats. 18th and final season. This is his final visit here to the city where it all began for him in 1999. Spent the first 7 seasons of his career in the Marlins uniform. More than twice as long as he spent in any other uniform he would wear. World Series winner in 2003. 49-50 record. 753 strikeouts. And get this, we're going to sit down tomorrow, AJ and I. We're going to reflect on his time in Pirates pregame that he spent here in Miami and the beginning of his career. He threw a no-hitter, won a World Series. A lot of fond memories for him. Obviously not in this ballpark, Tim and Bob, but we're going to sit down and go into detail and reflect on his time here, where his career began 18 seasons ago. Watch it on Pirates pregame, all right, Tim?
We'll be here. We'll be watching.
Back in the media room here behind us, where everybody eats, they have a lot of newspapers that are framed behind glass, and one of them I was reading today was, as I was standing in there getting my coffee, was all about AJ's no-hitter. Wasn't your normal everyday run-of-the-mill no-hitter either.
Had a couple of walks.
Yeah.
9 walks. But he didn't give up a hit.
Nobody had done that. I don't know if anyone's done it since, but up until that point, according to what I was reading, in the modern era of baseball, since 1900. The more I thought about it, I was like, wow, what was his pitch count? Kind of back what we were talking about. Young guys in their 20s, they can do that kind of thing. Physically, anyway, at that point, they can do everything. Now is when 38 years old. Now is when you start running out of gas a little bit. Pace yourself. Don't throw quite as hard.
3-2. That's smacked. Oh, what a diving stop by Ramirez. Couple of hops. He got him.
And Ramirez, another old timer with a little left in the tank.
He's got some gas in the tank, that's for sure. Ramos Ramirez with a diving stab. And a 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th inning. Pirates up 7-2. on the great Aramis Ramirez play to end it. Getting it done. 7-2 here, top of the ninth inning. McCutchen leads off. Aramis Ramirez will bat next. What a play he made to retire Miguel Rojas.
I thought you're supposed to lead off when you make a play like that. Are we batting out of turn?
No, batting in turn. Fly ball to left. And McCutchen with a quick out so Ramirez could get up there. Let's take a look at it again. Boy, short hop pick.
Could have been a double.
Yeah.
Well, 2 steps and a dive.
Allegheny Health Network Supermo, and he knows that he doesn't need to throw it over there in the air.
And just make sure it's on line. So if it's on line, on target, you got a chance. Sean will pick it for you.
Nothing in 2. Ramirez has walked twice tonight. Lately, he's been good for an RBI a game. Doesn't have one tonight, though. Left a good chunk of them to McCutchen. He has driven in the majority of Pirates runs.
A lot of opportunities for him. That's a good thing in this game.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Catch with a major tonight.
People don't know what you mean. Some might remember you were talking about this last week, trying to make up a new stat.
I did make up a new stat. It applied in this game. Catch his second major of well, since I invented the stat, he's got his second major.
Since Bob invented the stat, he coined this stat called a major. What is the definition of your stat again?
When you knock in the majority of your team's runs and win, that gives you a major. Well, see, because
it was a slow day that day, wasn't it?
Well, no, Long's going to get a win tonight.
He is.
So what's the star offensive player get?
He gets.
You got to have some kind of a stat to keep track of. We got a major.
He gets a pat on the back and said, "Do it again tomorrow."
It's a major. And the really good players, they're going to end up with probably 9-10 majors on the year.
Rojas throws him out. Ramirez is out, 2 gone for the Pirates in the top of the 9th inning. Pirates post game coming up at the conclusion of this one. Rob King, Kent Tekulve will be in our Root Sports studios in Pittsburgh.
I should add too that I'm just kidding. Last thing we need is another stat.
I meant to tell you, I don't know if I've told you this yet, but after you brought that up last week when you and I were on radio, I was getting tweets from people offering, suggestions
on how to
in details on how to tweak it and make it an actual stat.
I'm not against it either. It's just
laughing at
the
that.
way of the game nowadays. We could definitely tweak it, come up with something else. That was just something off the top of my head.
Oh, 2. And down on strikes looking goes Jung Ho Gung. He has struck out 3 times tonight. 3 outs to go. We head to the bottom of the 9th in Miami. The 9th, hi Grandma and Puppy.
Puppy, that's right. National Dog Day.
Pirates wrap up this series against the Marlins tomorrow evening. Our coverage starts at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by W.B. Mason on Root Sports. Right-hander Garrett Cole at 14-7 takes on lefty Justin Nicolino. He is 2-1. Garrett probably anxious to get right back out there, looking for win number 15. So 3 outs to get now. Game number 3, Pirates on their way to winning their 2nd game in this series after dropping last night's game. Lost 5-2 last night, won 5-2 Monday. Two balls and a strike. Prado homered his first time up in the 1st inning. Waves and misses here, and the count even 2-2.
That 2-1 slide, the way he locates his quality pitch, got good sharp break to it.
Struck him out.
Comes with another. Be a good win tonight. That beautiful location, just breaks it inch or so off the plate.
Pirates now 2 outs away from their 32nd road win, their 76th win on the season. Cardinals in Arizona should be throwing the first pitch in that ball game within the next couple of minutes. swing and a miss. Justin Moore got a base hit in the 4th inning. What do you suppose she's knitting? Dog collar, maybe?
They think it's time to put it away, though, it looks like.
So, and Moore strikes out, 1 out to go. One final dog picture today on National Dog Day. We'll see it after Joe throws this pitch. And it is a strike to Ozuna.
Oh, now that's a great looking dog, huh?
It ought to be. It's mine.
I knew it.
That is Reggie.
Reggie looked familiar there.
Yeah.
What's Reggie got? What's he hold on to?
Pirate Parrot.
He likes the parrot.
Yeah, he's hugging the Pirate Parrot. It's named after Reggie Dunlop, the famous player coach for the Charlestown Chiefs.
Good job on your board. I like that. Chocolate lab. Yep.
Justin Verlander, through 8 innings now, has still not given up a hit. And Ozuna strikes out, and the ball game is over. Blanton strikes out the side in the top of the 9th inning, and the Pirates win this ball game by a 7-2 final score. 76-49 the record. Andrew McCutchen, 4 RBIs. He now has 85 on the season, 3rd in the National League. A 3-run homer in the 2nd inning and a run-scoring double. Gets Jeff Locke his 7th win of the season. Pirates batting around in the 2nd inning, had all the runs they would need tonight.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say this right off the bat. Blanton has been amazing. I mean, how about that last inning he just pitched? Just incredible. But this is a good win. Last night was a kind of a little bit loss. It just didn't feel good. Glad to come back, and I think the guys felt the same way. It looked like they came out charging early in the game, put up 7 early runs.